The great Kevin Pollak from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is here on the Rich Eisen Show. And brother, I'll tell you again, I love your show. This show is it's beautiful. It's funny.
Yeah.
Your character has gone through quite a bit.
Yes, he has. Moish.
I think I told you, I don't know, because we were texting each other when your character, Moish, was, sick in the hospital.
Hospitalized.
And there was just a beautiful scene that involved you. I was crying.
At Tony Shalhoub, yeah. I was crying while he was doing his half of that scene.
Where he was pouring his heart out.
He's reading an obituary, yeah, that he wrote in preparation. And Tony is first of all, his character on the show makes me laugh harder than anyone because of his performance and articulation with gestures. The combination just puts me out. But sitting in that hospital bed while he's doing that scene, I was crying. I can't cry on camera. I'm not really a trained actor. But I was in big trouble when he was reading the obit.
And, do you have a favorite episode from the 5-year history of whether it involves you or it doesn't involve you?
Probably doesn't involve me. I don't. That's I've got to have a better answer than these hemming and hawing.
No, it's okay. Because it is just, obviously you're asking somebody who's involved in a show where every episode is a home run. I mean, it is a home run every episode. There's not a drop. There's not a single.
Yeah, if I had to pick like a favorite episode from each season, maybe that would be easier. But I do have also a bias and selfish view of some of this because this would be the favorite episode that I enjoyed doing.
Okay. As
opposed to watching. I get very few scenes where it was just myself and Rachel Brosnahan. So there were a couple episodes where she and I had a scene where our two characters were together. And then any scene where we are together as a group, which is also rare. Once a season, maybe there's
it's usually
a holiday dinner.
And we're showing a photograph here
this season,
recently. I think this was 2 episodes ago where you're watching
the wedding of of the Weissman's housekeeper.
Right. And how she, in the middle of getting married, it's apparent that she's about to quit the family. And that they went from celebrating her nuptials to now being freaked out that they're losing their housekeeper.
Yeah.
It was laugh out loud hilarious.
Yeah.
Laugh out loud hilarious.
Well, that's just it. These scripts week after week would kind of astonish us. Because how do you maintain, let alone do better? And it always starts on the page. And so every table read was like a celebration, every aspect of the show. You mentioned sort of the department heads of the person in charge of the look and the texture. The costume designer would build our clothing, which is also quite rare unless you're Game of Thrones, that because there's these warehouses of period clothing.
Yes.
And that was not the case. She built all of our suits.
It's amazing. It's just great. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, again, 5th and final season here on the Rich Eisen Show with Kevin Pollak. And Tony Shalhoub, if I'm not mistaken, from his time here on the show, he's a Packer fan. You're a 49er fan.
Yeah, we have our trouble usually in September. We'll have a very serious heart-to-heart.
Yes.
He does love Brock Purdy, so we got along well.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
you share a love of Purdy.
Yeah. Once his team was struggling, he made it clear that he was. I mean, who didn't love Brock? Really, honestly,
that was truly one of the most.
Just a pure fan of storytelling.
The fact that last season with the Niners was insane at the court. It was like the drummer from Spinal Tap, right? Where it just one imploded after another.
Yeah.
And the kid that they understandably didn't want to go into the season as the backup to Trey Lance because he was the last pick in the draft, so they had to keep Garoppolo.
Yeah.
That Garoppolo was in fact employed because Lance got hurt and then he got hurt and they had no choice but to go to the guy.
And they pulled him from, he was in the road company of a Doogie Howser run. as the lead.
Yes, Sanford Doogie Howser QB would be the show, and just unbelievable.
Yeah.
He was truly remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, you want him to do okay. Just don't embarrass the boat.
But you think he should be the guy this fall, correct?
Well, I don't think there's any choice. I think it's about as clear as anyone's vision can be, and I think he thankfully is so young and resilient that it was the right kind of surgery
right,
that allows him to be a youthful, resilient
and be back in
athlete.
time for the season.
And he certainly suggested during his time with the team that he was a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Honestly and truly. So, yeah, the moment he can start, he will. And he will regain footing and confidence. I'm going to go on a tiny limb.
Please do so, Kevin Pollak.
In the first set of downs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think he will be back, and I think he'll be the starting quarterback of the team this year as well. But they got Darnold, and then they have Trey Lance still. And so many teams, it's so rare that a team could choose a player as high in the draft as they did.
Sure, and give away the world. But let me say this. Trey had every opportunity that Brock had to prove himself and didn't.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
One has to argue.
No, I understand that.
He got injured twice.
No, but he also, Purdy, in just one game, looked like the guy.
He
did come in and just to the point where my son asked me as we were just lying there at Coop as he was getting ready to go to sleep, and he asked if it was possible for Purdy to still be Rookie of the Year despite playing such a few amount of games.
Oh, wow.
And this is just after his first go-round.
Yeah, he came in.
He beat Brady.
Yeah, at first start.
Right.
Ran for a touchdown. I mean, he really was. He was everything in that game. You went, oh, okay. So this is the thing.
That's the guy.
He's still weeks away from throwing a football, though.
So am I. It's May.
Kevin Pollak, by the way, will you be the fourth stringer? Do you think this year? That would be great.
I suit up every game.
You, Kevin Pollak?
Who's going to do it? You?
You?
The Jew? Yeah.
Kevin Pollak here on the Rich Eisen Show. Today would have been Don Rickles' 97th birthday.
And
what was it like on the set of Casino with
the
that
absolute
guy?
joy. What was my favorite part? I mean, you think that being in a Scorsese film, Nick Pileggi wrote the script, he wrote Goodfellas. You got De Niro and Pesci and Sharon Stone arguably doing the best work of her career. Jimmy Woods before he became a lunatic. And my favorite part is just hanging out with Don Rickles, for sure. And he told me right from the get, he knew that he owned De Niro. He had found out that when De Niro was a kid, there were the groups on the corner. Either they would sing songs, doo-wop, little gathering, or put down group, your mother this, your mother that. And De Niro was in one of the put down groups. And Rickles was their god, period. So Rickles was told this and is retelling me in a way to say, so I own this guy.
He would say that to you on the set of Casino?
Well, we clung to each other like the only Jew comics within 100 yards. Yes. By the way, I was stuck there the way Marty, you never get comfortable saying that.
Yes.
Shoots. I'm in the movie 9 minutes, but I was asked, you have to stay here. He may change his mind every morning what he wants to shoot.
Yes.
20 weeks. I'm in Vegas.
That was a 20-week shoot for
so
you?
I call the stand-up agent of many years, shout out to Rich Super, and I say, you got to book me opening up for somebody on the Strip. I'm stuck here. So he got me a Desert Inn opening up for the Four Tops. Fantastic.
Are you serious?
Wow. Crazy excited.
Because the Desert Inn has heart, as
yes,
you know,
it
as well.
does. The Desert Inn has heart. The Desert Inn has heart. Sings it 3 times. I go into the makeup truck after my name's on the marquee on the Strip, and Rickles is sitting there, and he goes, hey, saw your name on the marquee. Oh, great gig. Nice gig. I'm opening up for Frank all summer. Let me know if you want tickets. Yeah. So that was every day. Every day. And he would go after De Niro in the middle of a take.
Well, I've seen video of that where De Niro didn't remember his lines, and he got on him for that, right?
Oh, he went after him when De Niro did remember his lines. I mean, he would disrupt the wedding scene, 300 extras. Rickles was just standing next to De Niro doing nothing, and he just gets bored. And De Niro is acting,
Right.
saying his dialogue, cameras rolling, and Rickles would just rip in it. Is that the way you're going to do it? Like that? No, you got the awards. You know what you're doing. Go ahead. And the rest of us, sphincters tightened. Oh, no. And De Niro
This guy.
just howling. Loved him. Rickles was right. He owned him. He would just, but Pesci did not appreciate it.
No.
Well, no.
What do you got for me
When
there?
Rickles pointed out that Pesci was like a Shetland pony riding around, he was going to ride him around the set like a Shetland pony.
No, he didn't say
Sure
that to
he
Joe
did.
Pesci.
Yeah. Do you swear on this show? I don't remember.
Not really.
Not
no.
really. Yeah. So
but-
I
but
can't
you
say
can-
everything that Pesci said, but suffice to say, he was livid and rambling to himself, walking to his trail.
Yeah.
Joe,
Really? Are
Oh,
you
yeah,
serious?
absolutely. Oh,
So
yeah.
like he was a character in the movie.
Oh, yeah. Joe, he was just, yeah, you another one, the two of you, go fit yourself. Yeah. Yeah. That Jew, blank.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Just,
Oh my God.
yeah, like he
That's
says
so
in the
funny.
movie, this Jew bastard or something.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. No, he,
Fantastic.
Joe did not have a sense of humor at all when Rickles went after him. He did not,
Well, I imagine that Rickles then would smell blood in the water and get worse.
double
right?
down, splitting tens.
Did he ever do that?
Yes.
Did he ever go after Scorsese too?
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
would?
because we're shooting a casino with all that fake smoke, but still, it's a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
And Rickles would walk on set the first time he saw him with the little oxygen tank and the mask.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me the director was dying. Yeah. Throw up a hand, Marty. We'll send a team for you. Throw up a hand if you're really failing. I mean, if you're going to go down and you need to lie out. Yeah, listen, I improvised with Robin Williams on stage early in my career, started out in San Francisco where Robin did. And,
Yeah.
I improvised with the greats. I've never experienced someone improvising faster and more brilliantly than Rickles. I mean, it's that stream of consciousness where his career sort of started in the little lounge in Vegas where, De Niro or Sinatra saw him and knighted him, and that's how the career started. But it was a guy just doing crowd work and just putting down idiots in the audience who were falling asleep at 3 a.m. And he just never lost that instant, right from the hip. Nothing got past him. And it was, Alan King was also in the movie, and Rickles, I guess,
That's
had
right,
a
yes.
problem with Alan King name dropping. So I would say something like, hey, I just saw Alan. Yeah, did he mention the Kennedys? Just everything set him off. Everything set him off.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Kevin Pollak here on the Rich Eisen Show. Is it true also from The Usual Suspects that the scene where you're all in a lineup, that you're laughing because...
What would become the poster for the film?
For the poster for the
police
film.
lineup?
That's the name of the film, The
Series-
Usual Suspects. There you are.
You see how serious we are in the police lineup poster. But
And yet the scene...
is a series of outtakes because we couldn't stop laughing. We were all supposed to be very stoic as a screw you to the police. We're
Yes.
not impressed you gathered us together.
Yes.
I speak first, and I read it the way it was written in the script that went on to win the Academy Award. Although I'll say it again. I tell Chris McQuarrie, now directing the Mission Impossible movies, drop the Oscar at my house 1 week out of the year. You got 51, I get 1. Okay? Every line that's quoted back to me on the street from this Academy Award-winning screenplay, I improvised. I'm just saying. Pick any of your favorite lines that my character says, and I'll tell you.
Is that right?
It is right.
Okay.
Yeah. When I can put you in Queens on the night of the...
Yeah.
And it was written, I live in Queens. And I added, you put that together yourself, Einstein? What, do you got a team of monkeys working around the clock on this? So my point is... Yeah.
You're a factor, as they would say.
Oh, man.
So the scene is total...
It's all outtakes. We couldn't stop laughing. It was the one day where we all got the giggles, and everyone, Benicio passed wind like 7 takes in a row, which is not easy. You have to pace yourself.
So that literally is why you're laughing?
Oh, no, it was the first time at lunch where the director came to We the Suspects and said, you guys are screwing me. I got nothing. I can't use a take. And now, well, that was like telling 9-year-olds don't laugh at the funeral. We came back from lunch and laughed even harder. We couldn't get through it. And I've never been a part of something that you just couldn't ever get your act together. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, he just said, yeah, great, thanks. We'll figure it out. And to their credit, they went to editing and realized, oh, it's an even bigger, we're not impressed to the police by having these guys screwing off,
right.
Plus creating an instant camaraderie. It was the greatest happy accident I've ever been involved in.
No kidding.
For sure. Yeah.
So that is a true story so it wasn't Benicio del Toro,
passing win seven takes in a row. It was a series of everyone taking their turn being an idiot.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Baldwin's the next to go after me, and he did something over the top. Did I mention when I met Stephen Baldwin on the film, he was wearing leather pants, and I should qualify, he hadn't arrived on a motorcycle or a horse? He was just
so it was a choice.
He was just wearing...
It wasn't functional. It was a choice, is what you're saying.
He looked in the mirror and said, yeah, this is the right outfit. Yep.
Okay. Good to know that.
It wasn't a wardrobe thing?
Check that one. Check that box.
Yeah, and people ask me if Suspects was lightning in the bottle, and I tell them, you needn't look any further than the fact that Stephen Baldwin's great in the film. He's absolutely great, by the way. And then, watch Biodome right after that.
Kevin Pollak here on the Rich Eisen Show. Last time you were here, you told your perspective of the big scene that finished A Few Good Men. Obviously, from the Nicholson point of view. Do you got a good Tom Cruise story from that point of view, from that huge final scene? Anything that you watched him go through?
Well, I know you've had Rob Reiner on the show.
Yes.
I thought he was a great guest, and he told great stories about Jack saying, I just love acting, Robbie. Yeah. That classic thing. But we rehearsed on that movie like I haven't before or since, like a play. So they took a soundstage and they put tape on the floor to where everyone would stand and be, and we rehearsed for weeks. And it started with Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, and myself. By the way, this was my being brought up to the majors, this movie. I had done a handful of films. I died in Denzel's arms, spoiler alert, on Ricochet. Oh. But this was brought up to the majors for sure. And everyone's famous in this movie but me. I'm Where's Waldo in the Cat. So while we're at this rehearsal, I am waiting for someone to tap me on their shoulder, and I'm not kidding, and say, I'm sorry, we've made a horrible error. We meant Kevin Kline. Can you come with us over here? But minute one, Cruise is treating me like an equal. The moment I arrive, which is just being professional, I suppose, but it wasn't necessary to me.
Right.
But that's what happened. So now a couple of days of rehearsal, and the first thing you realize is Rob Reiner gives what actors call line readings. That is to say, after you've done something, the way a director might articulate what he would like from the actor is to act out the moment themselves. And most actors hate line readings because, whoa, were you saying not like that? I should do it like you're doing it?
Right.
It's just an unspoken agreement that directors should not give line readings. But Rob has always been a great actor. So he just gets caught up in the emotion of what he's describing in the scene, and he starts acting out the moments. And so it's a learning curve for Tom, to me, and I, those first couple of days. Oh, he's not saying, stop doing it your way, you're horrible. This is the only way he knows to articulate.
Yes.
And he's very passionate when doing it. So you kind of get caught up in it, and it's kind of inspiring and wonderful. But we did get used to it. So then Jack Nicholson joins us to rehearse that soliloquy on the stand where Tom, Demi, and I are already used to this. But we know what's coming. So we see Jack Nicholson act out the soliloquy on the stand for the first time in this rehearsal setting. And he is letter perfect. It's redonkulous. He's 92% of what we're going to see in the film. And we're waiting for him to finish, like anticipating, oh, here it comes. And so Rob says, that was great. That was incredible. Oh, my God, Jack, I can't believe. I mean, I knew you were going to be great, but that was even better. I don't even, the thing where you say about the, and now if you had a camera looking down from the rafters of the 5 people gathered, you would see Rob hovering over Jack, who's seated in a chair, and you would see a straight line standing of Tom, Demi, and I as we all stepped back in unison 2 feet while Rob is giving line readings to Jack. And he finishes acting out because he can't stop. And Rob ends up doing like the whole second half of the soliloquy. And Jack's just staring at him the whole time. And Rob finishes, and Jack says, yes, well, I guess I'm not there yet. And, thankfully, everyone burst out laughing because it could have gone awkward really fast.
Yeah.
And also, that was just a cool way of saying, thanks.
I'll take the notes. I'm
Thanks. I don't remember asking what you thought, sort of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. But also, Jack was the goofball. I expected someone that cool to be aloof. You'd have to talk about him, not to him. I had a tough time, even though we're technically co-stars, just saying hello. I thought, this guy doesn't want to suffer fools. He doesn't care about small talk. Even in the makeup trailer, first thing in the morning, you walk in, there's 8 barber chairs lined up. You get into one of them, they make you look better. I'd go in there, I'd see Jack's already in his chair. I'd go to the far end, get away from him, give him his space. Kiefer Sutherland's in the film, a few scenes. He had no problem walking right up to Jack. Hey, Jack, how you going? You want to get a beer after work? And I was just, how? And, Jack's reaction, that sounds great, Keith. What time do you suppose that ought to be? And he just made it so easy that I thought, why can't I talk to this guy? Did I tell you the story when word hits the set that Magic Johnson is HIV positive?
No.
That happened while we were shooting.
On
A Few Good Men? And so, that was for the heterosexual community, an H-bomb going off. It was no longer their problem. It was our problem. That's the way heterosexuals. This was a high-profile family man, very famous.
Yes.
And every person who had written it off as not our concern was instantly walking zombie.
I'm sure Jack knew him personally.
Right? And so I see all day long people going up to Jack from the crew. What does this mean? What does this mean? People just wanted answers.
Yeah.
What does this mean to me and my family? And he, of course, would talk to everybody. So later in the afternoon, I'm walking from set back to my trailer on a break of some sort. And I hear somebody mumbling behind me, and I turn back, and it's Jack. And he's like 3 feet away. It's surreal. It's just surreal. The whole damn thing is surreal. And again, I'm not going to engage. Just let him have his moment.
Yeah.
He gets to his trailer. He puts his hand on the door, and he stops, and he turns to me, and he says, you want to know surreal? And, of course, I'm thinking, I'm sorry, Jack Nicholson, did you just ask me if I wanted to know what you think is surreal?
Yeah, right.
I pull up a chair, and he says, I'm doing this picture, Chinatown. I'm sorry, Jack Nicholson. Did you just start a story with, I'm doing this picture, Chinatown, and I'm rehearsing this scene with John Huston. And you have to understand, the man was like an idol of mine. He was a surrogate father. I worshiped the ground he walked on. He meant more to me than my own family. And while we're rehearsing this scene, I see over his shoulder, about 50 yards away, his daughter Angelica walking towards the set to visit. And I had just started banging her about 3 weeks before.
Oh, my God.
And so I realized I hadn't told the old man yet. And I didn't know how to break it to him. I didn't want to upset him. I didn't want him to be angry with me. I didn't want to disappoint him. I would have killed her if that's what he wanted. And I'm thinking all these things as we're rehearsing the scene, and I come out of those thoughts and get back into the rehearsal at the exact moment that his character says to mine, Mr. Giddis, are you sleeping with my daughter? Now that's surreal. And he turns on a dime, and he walks into his trailer, and I'm standing in a parking lot thinking and saying out loud, did anybody else see that? What? The absolute hell just happened.
What?
You so badly needed to share that story that we've barely spoken to each other. You laid that at my feet and then just strolled into your trailer and shut the door? Jack Nicholson? Wow.
You can't handle the truth. Fantastic.
Did you immediately tell someone that?
I did. Yes, of course. Yeah, I didn't tell it publicly for probably almost 20 years. And this is the first broadcast I've told it.
Well, I will never watch Chinatown the same way again.
Not that scene, anyways.
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, now streaming on Prime Video, the 5th and final season of this remarkable show. Kevin Pollak, you are the best, man. Thanks for coming on here.
Quid pro quo, by the way.
Yes, sir.
This is a news flash.
Yes.
Dropping on your show.
Is the chat show coming back?
Close.
Okay.
My Mrs. Maisel pod.
Oh.
And you'll have to be a guest.
Please.
Yeah.
Anytime.
It won't drop till after the show runs sometime in June, but I'll let you know.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime. You'd let me know. I would be thrilled to be there. At Kevin Pollak on Twitter, at Kevin Pollak123 on Instagram. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.